Hey guys, this is AP, and today we're going to be going over my chess regimen and how I improve in chess. So the first thing, and number one thing, is how am I so confident that I'm going to reach my master rank? So if you don't have a coach and you're self-taught like me, then you definitely have to have a guide. You have to have a goal, one, and you have to have baby steps to get there. Um, so there has to be some type of something that you have to measure. Something has to be quantified to let you know that you're actually going in the right direction or the wrong direction, or you're just staying plateau. And if you're just kind of like playing chess, that's not a recipe for success, because after a while you'll reach your peak of understanding, and then that'll be it. Whether that be 1200, 1400, 1600, thousand, whatever. Personally, me, it was 1600. 1600, got to 1600, and I was completely like on top of my game. And then I realized like I ran out of knowledge. Like everything I know, my opponents know. How can I outplay them? How can I outsmart them, outwit them? And so I started my study plan. Started reading books and learning more techniques from masters. So okay, here we go. This resource is a more recent one, and of course, this day and age, you have computers to help you with all of this stuff. So one program that I recently came across, and this is a really, really just winning type of product here. It's an awesome program. It's called Aim Chess. So let's go into it. So this is the homepage, and there's a lot of stuff to uncover here. So I'm gonna go through most of these tabs quickly. So the first thing that I start my day off with is warm up. And I do have books that I'm going to read, and I will show you guys a little bit later, which is The Inner Game of Chess and The Chess Strategy for Kids. And basically the warm up is just to get the gears running in the morning before my training game. And if we click that, I was actually doing some, but then I didn't finish. So here we go. You are warmed up to ready to play, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so continue warm up. So whenever you press the warm up, it will say, okay, black to move. In warm up, really easy puzzles. This program knows I'm a 1900 on lead chess, and it actually is giving me this puzzle. So it's very simple. You have this little time, and you just try to solve as much as you possibly can. So here, this is just a fork. Very simple stuff, like capture. Oh, well, this is a check, right? So we just capture the knight. And if you're rusty and you're just starting the day off like I am right now, you might not even notice the check. But after a while, it's like, okay, well, you get in that chess mode and you start seeing everything. So like a mate in one here. Very simple. But okay, let's continue. You'll finish, and if you feel like you're warmed up, the gears are grinding, then you can go ahead and go on lead chess and really hone in and play some good chess. The next thing that you should probably play is the Today. And this is a personalized study plan for you. So it has your personalized workout, your focus workout, mixed workout, and tactics workout. Like these are just little modules that you should complete throughout the day. And for instance, your personalized workout is the main one. For instance, advantage capitalization. This is a personalized lesson from your game. So here it is black to move. And what do you play? And if you need help, you press the help button. But just to show you that this is a personalized lesson, you can click that button and it'll open the game that was played. And so this was a 3-minute game, so I'm okay with not getting it completely right, because it only picks games that you actually didn't take advantage of that moment. So this is the moment right here. Wow, I hit it right on the money. Bishop takes f4, and now it's black to move. I play king b8 here. This is such a horrible move, but I had like 30 seconds left on the clock, as you could see. So I'm not too mad at myself. I was in time trouble, and we'll see why that is in just a moment. But okay, let's go back. And here, if I play something like Queen C6, this plays the game. And okay, now I'm just up some material. King to D7, and it keeps going, and you play the computer, and you can even set the computer how strong you want it to play. I always put mine on the absolute, hardcore mode. But yeah, it could get pretty difficult at times. So if we go back, it'll actually show you the statistics of all your games within the past 14 days. I haven't played on this account. This is my old account, King AP. But I have a new account, which is ChecksMix. But I don't have enough data to actually insert and actually get some real practical results. So I'm actually using my old one. But it has all this information here. And if you're probably wondering like, oh man, I don't know how to interpret this. Well, what you could do is go to Scouting Reports. You create a report. Press this button. You put your username. And then it will actually spit out. It grabs, sucks in all those games. And then it has a report ready for you within an hour. So here, this is a report with my classical games on leadchess.org. 40 classical games. And it has all the information here. And I'm not going to dive too much into it, but some really cool stuff that I would like to point out is that anything that you have trouble with, it has how to improve. It has personalized lessons. It has old positions that maybe you got stuck on, and you can try it out here. Your win rate, it has all this kind of data. Now, one thing that I'm interested in, as you can see, my opening is good, tactics are good, ending is good, advantage capitalization is good, resourcefulness is good, but my time management is poor. I'm in the 14th percentile. That's the only one that my peers are beating me on. So here I would scroll down to my time management, and here you'll see you are behind. So it actually interprets what the information means to you. So you don't have to interpret anything. It'll tell you exactly what the information means. You are behind on the clock 86% of your moves. Spending extra time on critical positions can be helpful when you have a forcing sequence to win a game, but consistent poor time management may put you at a disadvantage in your endgames. This is true. I find this very true. It says how to improve. So it even interprets, and then it tells you how to what direction to take to improve this and get your game up and patch up those weaknesses. Use your opponent's turn to think about their candidate moves. I kind of already do this. Study your basic checkmating patterns. Okay, I feel pretty confident enough to win an advantage in the endgame. Learn to identify the critical moments in the game. This I found out after this report, and again, this is 2 months ago, guys. So I already looked at this information. But this one I could really learn, and I'm going to show you how where this data comes from, like how I know that this is the one that I specifically need to work on. And then another one is try our intuition trainer lessons to improve your tactical spidey sense. So these last two are me. This is the one where I can save some time and learn. So we go back. So outcomes, and what you want to click is spent per move. Okay, and it shows you how much time, percentage of the time left you have on the clock, and the move number. So how much, time you're spending. But if we go here, long thinking outcome. Whenever I take my time, only 4% of the time I'll actually make a blunder after a long, well thought out position. 6% mistakes, inaccuracies, about 23%. So this, I mean, maybe I'm in a very difficult position and I still make an inaccuracy. That's pretty big. But the excellent and best moves are just off the charts with 36% and 28%. And my good moves are 3%. So this can actually be tagged along here. So let's say I'm really looking for a knockout blow. If I take my time, I'm going to find it. That's what that tells me. This information tells me if I take my time, I will find the right answer. However, I'm spending way too much time on that. So the results, whenever I have a time disadvantage. And then I go into this end game. You can even see my end games. My outcomes are really good. I'm above these 2 percentiles, my peers. You know, my rating group in 2,000 to 2,200. The outcomes, an equal end game. I win 100% of the time. With advantage, 88% of the time. End games with disadvantage, I win 0% of the time. And so, yeah. But whenever I get in time trouble, this just tells you that, you know, I'm still probably losing. And I'm not able to really pinpoint those critical moments because the time spent per move is just every single move. I'm spending like 5 minutes. Every single move is a critical move to me. I'm a perfectionist, but you know, I have to be practical too, right? I have to be pragmatic. So here, it tells you your report. And you can go in and look at all this. I mean, all the other information, it's saying that, you know, I win 72% of the time. I'm doing good. I don't really need to improve on this. This also tells me that I need to work on my calculation. I'm calculating too slow. Like, I'm going to find the win, but it takes me 20 minutes to find one move and finally find that blow. So I would probably do, you know, the training room, hit up the training room and go under tactics and improve on my tactics. We recommend solving several tactics every day at a minimum to keep your calculation abilities in shape. So this is something that I'm going to be honing in on. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a different tab. And I'm going to talk about the other resources to help me reach my goal. So I have the chess strategies for kids. I don't know if you can see that because it's in green, so probably has the green screen in the back. But this one, the inner game of chess, how to calculate and win. So this is really going to help me. Now you're probably wondering, why are you like 1900 or 1800 and you're actually using this book? So this is actually, I'm coming off a hiatus. I haven't like really played chess in a very long time. So what's going to happen is I'm going to dive into this. It's only going to take me about a week. I'm just trying to, you know, remember those, well, not remember the fundamentals, but sharpen those fundamentals. You can never get enough of the fundamentals. So I'm going to like make a study out of this. It's probably going to be on a future playlist, some of the key concepts in here. So this is pretty good. And I have a position on the board right here from this book. This is Smart Strategy number 2. So if we open up here, and this is a game between Schulten and Morphy. And the whole point, or the smart strategy here, is to develop those pieces. And in the opening, don't be afraid to lose a pawn or two, because if you could really tie down the opponent and activate your pieces, that is the most important thing in the opening phase of the game. So here, I believe maybe black can play take, but then after bishop takes, you know, knight f3, castle. White isn't really going to have any problems. But what black can do here is play a3, and this is what Morphy does. And basically, after this move, black played bishop takes e3, and then black to move here, what would you play? Take a moment, pause the video if you want. But here, Morphy decides to castle. Just keep developing straight Morphy style. Because now that the e-file is open, this bishop has to, you know, make an extra tempo, so waste another move to protect this knight on c3 because it is defending d5. You'll also notice these two pieces aren't developed, so that means he can't castle kingside quickly. And black has already castled, so this rook on going to e8 is going to be deadly. And what happens is after castle, bishop d2, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, rook to e8, and bishop e2. And now bishop g4. And the author writes, black has activated most of his pieces and white must tread carefully. So, a little while later, Morphy goes and does in this position does convert with knight to d4 here. So here you could see that he probably played, you know, c4. He's probably trying to play bishop to c3, but his king is stuck in the center. It's an open position, so knight d4 is just gonna bring down a lot of pressure. So it says this was the position a few moves later. White is 2 pawns up, but behind in development, and his king is exposed on the e file. Knight d4 is coming next, cranking up the pressure to unbearable levels. Agreed. So you have 1, 2, 3 attackers here, putting a lot of pressure. So if you're interested in this book, it tells you all of the fundamentals, some key strategies. It gives you a direction to go in. And another reason why I picked up this book is because sometimes in a game, it's not for tactical reasons. I'm not trying to find a knockout blow, but I'm just trying to find the direction to lead my forces to. And I just don't know positions well enough. And that's also part of getting better too. It's just being honest with yourself. So I have that book, and now this book. This book is more or less my level. So we're going to go and look at a position here. And this book is about calculation, the inner secrets of calculation. So the very first position in the book, I believe, is this one right here on the board. And it's really interesting because there's so much components that go into calculation. You just have no idea. Visualization, monkey wrenches, ideas, force, choice, oversights. I mean, everything. Rechecking, trees, you know, branches of variations. So this book has really helped me. I will say I read this book already, but I'm gonna read this one again. I have not read the other book, Chess Strategy for Kids, but this book is really gonna help me. And what's gonna happen is, you know, I feel like whenever I read this book, it helped me. But you read it a second time, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna even absorb it a little bit better. So let's go to this position right here. Right here. Okay. So white to move. If you want to pause the video, go ahead and take an opportunity. And now I'll read what the author said. It says, an amateur looking at this position would quickly count up material and realize that white has 3 extra pawns and black has an extra bishop. That's roughly even. He would see that white has 2 advanced passed pawns at e6 and f7, an important asset. But he would also see that those pawns are firmly blockaded. Moreover, they could be quickly lost after rook b6 and rook takes e6 or bishop takes e6. So these will fall. It's firmly blockaded. So we need to actually, in order to keep our asset, we need to push for the initiative and attack this king because there's a lot of dark squares here. And that's what he goes on to say. The amateur would also realize that white's rook is aggressively placed on h4, but threatened by the bishop on e7. And he really wants to play queen e5 or queen h6. This will pretty much be checkmate if he could go to these 2 squares. But queen e5 results into queen takes e5. And if something like, let's say, queen to c3, well, now black can play queen takes c3, b takes c3, and now bishop takes h4. So the move here is queen e3. Almost gave it away just a second ago. There's a lot to see, but a master would see something else. He basically goes on to say what I just said. He spots queen e3, and now h5 has to be played. If bishop takes, now queen to d4 is the move, and after bishop to f6, remember that there's a rook on f1, so queen takes f6, and now the easy but effective rook to f4, rook lift, rook h4 is going to be mate, and there's really not a good way to stop it. I mean, you can sacrifice your queen in that position, but it's going to be winning for Team White because of the 2 passed pawns. So here, after queen e3, black plays h5, an excellent defense. But now after queen to d4 check, king to h6, and now the knockout blow, white to move, see if you can find it. Okay, here white plays rook takes h5. Really nice move because now the idea is if g takes, rook f6, If bishop takes, queen f6 mate. And after rook f6, the king can go to g7 or g5. If king g7, rook g6 mate. Oh, well, I'm sorry, not mate yet, but it's going to lead to mate with queen to g7. But if he goes king g5, then rook g6 is mate. And this is pretty much the end of the game. So this book is really good at breaking down the different aspects of calculation, because calculation is a big umbrella in itself, and there's a lot of aspects that add on to it. So this is going to help me a lot. The one drawback with this book is it doesn't have enough practice exercises. So it just tells you about the ideas. It doesn't actually explore and give you some practice, hands-on practice. So you're going to have to find a supplement book. And what my supplement book is going to be is basically the it's going to be the Lichess puzzles. So I hope you guys found this pretty helpful. This is going to be my study plan for the next few months. I'm going to try and just run through this book, both books, as quickly as possible, and just my calculation is going to get better, and therefore my time management will get better. And then I'm going to play lots of games and then set up another report on my ChecksMix account. So that's pretty much my main resources. There are lots of other programs. There's lots of other books out there, and I do plan on reading more books. I do plan on recommending more websites and all that stuff for specific things. But as long as you're playing chess, you should be okay. So I'll see you guys in the next video.